So, 20th video, boxing and wrestling magazines, bit on Lou Thez again, but we're gonna just start off the same with some results here. The wrestling that are going on at the time, and yeah, it's got a bit about Bobby Fuller. Obviously these pictures of Lou Thez there. Bobby Fuller, he beat Sputnik Monroe, Dick Dunn, and Red Roberts blitzed, that means beats Bavarian Boys, it's like a tag team one, and Joe Scarpa deflated Baby Blimp, and the Destroyer over Bruce Austin Midgets. Obviously, I don't know if that's the right wording, but it's the way they worded it then. Pee Wee Lopez and Chico Santana overpowered Little Boy Blue and Marcel Samard. Then you got St. Louis. And all these reports, there was a correspondent, Frank Kramerman, and correspondent Ray Irway given these, correspondent Diane Devine, and correspondent Don Slocum. They're all the people writing these results. Correspondent Jay Huey and correspondent J.M. Seach. This is Fred Cannon giving these reports here. And St. Louis, this is the report from. The Bruiser won by disqualification over Wilbur Snyder and drew with Moose Evans. Evans crushed Rocky Cookson and flattened Frank Outman. Obviously they're tag teamy type 2 or 3 people at a time. John Henning edged Bill Miller and Fritz von Erich. Bob Graham and Rip Hawk drew, and Pat O'Connor and Joe Tangero. I'm just saying this so we get these names that are kicking about at the time in the history of the show wrestling. Johnny Valentine, Angelo Poffo dropped Ivan Zukov, and O'Connor tapped Pancho Villa. Obviously there's a boxer called Pancho Villa, and it's not the same one, I'm sure. Yeah, because he would have been dead by now. Betty Nicoli and Jean Anton upset Kathy Starr and Jessica Rogers. And Pat O'Connor topped Nick Volkov and John Paul Henning. And Joe Tangero sank Bobby Graham and Rip Hawk, and Tangero drew with Hawk. So like a tournament they had. I'm going to go back to the ratings again. It's just good to mention these fighters. Weird enough, there's Pancho Villa there, guy who fought Jimmy Wild, but again obviously that's a different Pancho Villa they're talking about there. So we're going to go to junior middleweights. Sandra Mazingi's the champion. Last title defence December the 2nd, 1963, it says here. And again, going to the challengers in order: Abraão da Souza, Brazil; Denny Moya, Oregon; Ralph Dupas from Louisiana; Stan Harrington from Hawaii; and Tony Montana from Arizona; and Gaspar Ortega from Mexico; Oscar Miranda from Argentina; Bruno Vicente from Italy; Ted Wright from Michigan; Shigemasa Kawakami. So I say that again: Shigemasa Kawakami from Japan. The junior middleweights there. Then the welterweights: ML Griffith, Cracking champion, right up there, the all-time greats. Last title defence here, June the 12th, 1964, for Griffith. Then you got Brian Curvis from Wales, Joe Stable from New York, Luis Rodriguez from Florida. He fought Griffith. Rip Randall from Texas, Stan Hayward from Pennsylvania, Curtis Coates from Texas. Again, he would fight Napoli's, Josie Napoli's Curtis Coates. He fought Joe Napoli's in Tech, but again he's from Texas. Curtis Coates, Francios Pavilla from France, Tito Marshall from Panama, Vince Shomo from New York, and Bad Benny Briscoe from Pennsylvania. He fought them all. Hagler Monzon. And the junior welterweights, so light welterweights or junior welterweights, whatever you want to call them. Champion Eddie Perkis from Illinois. Should have mentioned Emil Griffiths in the welterweights was New York. But again, back to the junior welterweights. So Eddie Perkins, champion. And so we start in order. Sandro Lopopolo from Italy. Makoto Watanabe. I think they spell it all. Makoto Watanabe from Japan. Not sure if that's you spell it, but again, Makoto Watanabe from Japan. Luis Molina from California. And Mario Rosito from Colombia. And Doug Valiant Doug Viallant from Florida. And then you got Angel Robinson Garcia from France, Bert Somodio from Philippines, Raul Soriano from California, Carl Penizola from Philippines. Few good fighters with that name later on, Dodi Penizola, etc. Yeah, and he was managed by someone related to Flasher Lordi, Dodi Penizola, but this is Carl Penizola. I'm going forward in the future there, but again, here we go. So George Sackerman from Brazil, number 10 in the junior lightweights. And here we go. So Josie Napoli is in the lightweights here. But again, he would be one of the best welterweights. Again, had a good old reign before he beat him by John H. Tracy from England. But here with the lightweights, Carlos Ortiz, New York. Last defence says here April 11th, 1964. Josie Napoli's, like I just said. Mantequilla himself from Mexico. Paulie Armstead from California. And Arthur Pursley from Philippines. Bunny Grant from Jamaica. Percy Howells from Jamaica. And Dave Charney from England. And Carlos Hernandez from Venezuela. Kenny Lane from Michigan. Like I said, it was a Kenny Lane years later would stop. Or was it Kenny? No, it was Kenny Vice, wasn't it? Getting totally muddled up there. So forget that. This is Kenny Lane. I don't know why I'm making that link. This is Johnny Bizarro from Pennsylvania. Frankie Navarez from New York. So then we got the junior lightweights or light lightweights. So there he is, the man I was talking about, Flasher Lordi. Last title defence, July the 27th, 1964. Then here we go, Terio Kosaka, Japan. And Young Terror from Philippines, Love Alote from Ghana. Sebastio Nascimento from Brazil. And Larry Flaviano from Philippines. Then we got Frankie Taylor from England. And another Peninsula from Philippines, popular name, Rick Penalosa. Penalosa, actually. Is that the same way? Yeah, written the same way. And Larry Fernando, Philippines. And Joe Rafiu King from Nigeria. Carlos Cruz from Dominican Republic. So that's the end of this video. Bang.